Our 2022 Trinity Graduate Spotlight is super memorable. And it could be because she first introduced herself to me as Patti Obi-Wan Knobbe, or it could have just been the fact that she was a really great student with high energy and so fun to have. But either way, she did make a lasting impression. Patti and her husband, Scott Knobbe, have 3 grown children. They live in West Point, Nebraska, where they farm, ranch, and raise cattle. West Point is also home to her practice, the Good Earth Company, where she utilizes RBTI, iridology, bioenergetic feedback, frequency healing, thermography, salt therapy, and Christ-centered yoga. You might remember her from her offer to do yoga with y'all yesterday. Patti enjoys spending time with her family and friends and helping others live their best life. Please join me in welcoming Patti, our 2022 Trinity Graduate Spotlight.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I want to first thank Anita, who's actually taken a picture for me. She could see I was a little bit nervous, and so she went and put some Bach flower, rescue remedy, and larch in there for me. So thank you very much, Anita. I wanted to start off just with yoga and breathing is how I started this journey. So when we look at our first love, okay, so God being first love, spiritually, then it comes to your spouse, your significant other, your children, and other things in life. So I just wanted to kind of put that into perspective right this moment. But I want to start off by us all taking a deep breath in together and me taking you through the journey. So let's take a deep breath in. You can choose to close your eyes. You can choose to keep them open, whichever you would like to do. Pushing that breath out with your diaphragm. This next breath, imagine breathing in the Holy Spirit. Letting the Holy Spirit go through the mind, the heart, and the soul. Now, today we brought something with us or things with us in our minds that clutter, that keep us from living our best life. Usually it's us that gets in the way of doing that. But let's just exhale anything that we continue to hang on here this morning or this afternoon that keeps us from living our best life and forgetting about our first love. Okay, if you close your eyes, you can open your eyes. That's how I start my morning every day. It all started back about 2017. Our youngest daughter, Madeline, was graduating high school. It was the beginning of her senior year. And I was all of a sudden thinking to myself, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because from age 19, I've been married. I had 3 kids in 4 years. I was a wife. I helped on the farm. Even went so far as getting a CDL license and hauling cattle for my husband whenever truck drivers were not available. So it was one of those things that I enjoyed what I did. I loved, being wife, mother, all that kind of stuff, most important things in life, but I knew there was something else out there. So I had to kind of start examining mind, body, soul, spirit, everything. I knew from a young age I always liked to help people. The first memory of me trying to help someone live their best life, it was probably grade 4. It was a young lady who was very much so obese at that age, and kids were making fun of her. Even our coach would make fun of her. I should say our PE coach. And I just remember thinking, how awful was that we're not in her shoes, and how can we do something differently to help her feel better about who she is. So it started then, and then fast forward to my daughter graduating. I knew I had to do something. I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I need to be diligent, and I need to be disciplined, because that's not my normal natural nature. So I have to throw myself into things that I love to do that. So I started Googling, landed on some different things, different ideas, and I'm like, no, that's just not it. So then that's where the yoga, the Christ-centered yoga part came in first. It was very important for me to make sure it was Christ-centered. I didn't want to go too far this way, too far that way, and I wanted to be able to bring that to our community. In West Point, Nebraska, Natural health is not very much so out there or looked upon as something that, we should be going to first. We're very close to Omaha, Nebraska, and just in our small little town, we have like 10 medical doctors, 4 practitioners. So it's not the first thing that you think of. So after starting the Christ-centered yoga part, I started adapting my classes to what can we do to support the lymphatic system, what breathing techniques, what positions can we do to support the heart, the thyroid, all those kind of different things. So after class, I started getting questions asked about, what are your suggestions for this? What are your suggestions for that? And then I was like, okay, I've placed myself in a situation I really need to go further in educating myself in natural health. So then I started Googling Christ-centered natural health schools, and Trinity School of Natural Health came up numerous times, so then that was kind of the red flag that was the direction God wanted me to go. So I reached out to Trinity School of Natural Health and started off, and I've got my list here so I don't miss any of them, started off with the Certified Natural Health Specialist, or I think it's the professional program now. Certified. Then I went to the Certified Holistic Health Practitioners program, graduated from there. Certified Master's Herbalist program, then the Iridologist, and then I did sign up for the homeopathic last year and did drop out just for the time being because my mother passed away and she was my office manager once I started the Good Earth Company. Not only did that, she also she did everything to make sure I had time to do what I needed to do. So for the time being, I've dropped out of that one, but I plan on getting back in that one this next year. So, and then I moved forward and also became board certified through the American Association of Natural Wellness Practitioners. And then this last year became certified in level 1 training of thermography. So that being said, I'm about 5 years now in my natural health business. I cannot tell you the joy it brings me. And I wrote the affirmation down from yesterday. I bring back joy to the center of my heart. I express love to all. If all someone gets out of coming to my place is foundations, I feel like I've won, okay? Not me so much, I've helped them. Number 2, I try to help people not only with foundations, but emotionally. I don't try to be a counselor as far as I call it, nothing like that, and they know that. But they know I am sincere, I am intentional, and that they are loved. When they first walk into the Good Earth Company, I have my logo in Genesis 1:31. And the reason for Genesis 1:31 is because I prayed really hard on what I was going to name this business because it had to be Christ-centered. So I prayed and prayed and prayed, and one day I woke up and it was my devotion for the day, and it was focused on Genesis 1:31, when God looked around and all was good. And I was like, bingo, that's it. Because at that time, it seemed like everywhere you went, everything was bad. This was happening, this and this and this. And this is at that stage in 2018, 19, things were not looking so good. And everything was negative, it seemed like. So I just want to bring awareness to people that, there's more good than there is bad. So that was part of that, naming it and then putting the Genesis 1:31. But I want to also bring the Genesis 30 also talks about how God gave us every green plant that we need on earth, okay? He's given us everything that we need. So I don't try to be too aggressive, you guys. I don't try to do the things that I shouldn't. I don't try to pretend I can offer someone what I can't. I just stick to foundations. I listen to people. What has excited me this time, because every time you come to one of the Trinity's lives, you learn something new. It might be on the same topic, but you learn something new from somebody different. And I'm learning how much Bach flowers can really help a person. So my next thing this next year, I think, is really kind of jump into the Bach flower remedies. When you're working with individuals that are dealing with trying to figure out what's going on with them and they just can't quite put their fingers on it, again, just listening. They're telling you everything you need to know. They just don't realize they're telling you what you need to help them. So what I have found in my natural health journey is that I I'm not ashamed to right away say God first. What is your relationship like with God? If they kind of squirm with that a little bit, I know I am there to be the light of Christ. I'm not there to do anything other than, again, foundations, light of Christ, and just listen. If people are there, and you're going to have some that are really in tune with their bodies, and they already know what they want to do, and they already know what they're going to suggest that we suggest for them. You just sit back and listen and kind of take it in, and more than likely, they might be right, they might be wrong, but embrace people wanting to come and find out natural ways of, healing. Their body's going to heal themselves, but you helping them out. I wish I would have had the bug to do this back when I was 18, 19 years old, but that wasn't God's plan. So at 42 years old, I set out on this journey. One of the things that I haven't mentioned yet, if you had to ask me what was probably the thing that sparked it for me jumping more into this area, back probably about 15 years ago, I remember going to my primary care physician, whom I'm very good friends with, him and his wife. We go out to dinner with them often. He told me I had higher cholesterol. And I'm like, okay, And that was back when I was like, oh, my mother has it, her sisters have it, it's genetic. That was before my mind had changed on that. But I just said, okay, I'm like, I'm not going to take a prescription. I'm like, can you give me something more like foods, vitamins, oils, anything like that? And he just stared at me for a second there. And he goes, I didn't go to school for that. I don't know what to tell you. And I think I was kind of like blown away for a moment there. And I know that they don't go to school for that, but I was just kind of blown away. Like, that is the missing link. I think that's what you were saying yesterday. That was the missing link for me. I'm like, how can someone that goes to school for 7 to 8 years not be able to say, this, and this? But that being said, I've learned that, that's also where we're the missing piece for that. I can't read enough. I can't research enough. I'm constantly wanting to absorb more and more. So I've listed the different things that I've already gone through and been certified. I'm not done. I get excited. I hop on Trinity's page often just to see what's the next thing. Homeopathic, this is the next one. But outside of that, I have other areas that I continue to research and get certified in and just study. So once you do this, you're going to always be a student. You're always going to jump into something different. You're always going to learn. Embrace that. Your family members might not. I'm going to speak from experience. You heard Lauren talk about my husband's family. I married into feedlot family, farming family, ranching, commodities. These are not any of the branches that tend to believe the way we believe. So I'm like the oddball into a large family, okay? Our area alone in northeast Nebraska, at any given day, we are feeding over 350,000 head of cattle on any given day, okay? That being said, the first thing in your mind is, oh, conventional. Yeah-ish. I'm very proud of the steps that our family has made in bringing in better ways of doing things, healthier way of doing things, less and less of what they've known to do. So I've learned to be very patient with that because, A, it's not going to change overnight. It's no different as us being servants of God. We're not to push people in a corner because they're going to come out fighting. So it's winning people over that do things not the way we would like them to. It's not as natural as we would like them to. It's you being the examples with your life and what you do that will win them over. I've got an uphill battle there for the most part, but we're making steps here and there. So, I'm not going to keep going on rambling, but I love what I'm doing. It's the best choice other than, husband, children, all that kind of good stuff. Best choice I've made for the rest of my life. I don't ever see myself not doing this, and I know one of the questions, I have them up here just so I make sure. In 5 years, where do I see myself in 5 years? You guys, I live day by day for the most part. I drive my husband absolutely crazy. He is organized. He is a list maker. He knows exactly to a T what he's doing, where he's going, and he always makes it happen, okay? I've got a vision, I know what I want to do, and I don't think too much on it. I just do it. So that's why I wanted to bring up the whole thing about surrounding yourself with people that are going to work with you. I mean, if it's your practice, you get to hire the right people. I am an earth face, but more of a water element. Not meaning to, but it was pointed out to me by Dr. Todd Frisch when he came through my area, and he came and did some services at my place. And yes, I got to give him an ionic foot detoxification and massage his feet afterwards. So we were sitting there talking, and the gal that I can only hire her 2 days a week because her husband does not want her to work, which saddens me so much, but I respect that. She walked in, and she was doing some things, and she's listening to him, and she's kind of, this and that, and she walked out, and he said to me, he goes, "Do you realize what you have there?" And I said, "Oh, I love her." I said, "She's awesome." He goes, "No." He goes, "Do you realize what kind of a person you have there?" And I said, "Well, I know she makes sure I get stuff done." And he goes, "You have a king face." He goes, "She's probably the strongest king face I've ever been in front of." He goes, "Do not lose her." He goes, "Because you, my dear," he goes, "you have ideas, you're here, you're there." He goes, "And you'll just go purchase this and implement it into your practice and this and that." And he goes, "And you have the king faces around you to make sure it works." And I said, "Yes, you're right." And he goes, "I'm just telling you right now, strongest king face I've ever seen, keep her." And I do make her happy. Does that mean we're always getting along well? No, not so much, but she's awesome. I just recently hired another individual. This one was God sent. My practice is growing faster than probably what I need, expected, but I'm making sure I bring people in. So I was praying about getting another employee in, and I did get one. It didn't work, and it saddened me to have to let her go because she was a sweet gal. So then I prayed about it. And one lady that was almost going to be one of my biggest competitions, she owned 7 Anytime Fitnesses. She was coming to my place. She was loving the ionic foot detoxification, the salt chamber, the infrared sauna. We have like a detox program that we do at our place. She was loving it. Well, then she came one day and said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking about implementing the detox part of your business into mine, but I don't want it to be an issue with you and I, because I really like you. And we're not like, in the same town. We're just 17 miles apart." And I was like, I was getting nervous because I was like, okay, I've spent a lot of money on this portion of my business. So I was all worked up, and I did let it bother me. I did let it affect my sleep for a little while there, and I know not to. I'm a yoga instructor. I know how to breathe, and I'm a Christian, and I also know how to give it to God. But for a while there, I didn't. And then I finally was just like, I can't do this anymore. God, you do have this. 2 weeks later, she called me and said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I'm almost 6 years old, and I cannot do this anymore. I'm selling all 7 of my Anytime Fitnesses. Would you consider hiring me for 1 day a week?" I was like, thank you, God. I don't even think I said anything to her for like 2 minutes or a minute or whatever, but I was like, oh, thank you. She's another strong king face. So I'm the little earth face. And guys, this book right here, I bought another one because I wanted to reference it, but I need another one because I use it so often. There's so many different things in here that can help you also physically with physical observations with your clients. So just as you're growing or as you're bringing people in, get yourself educated on who you need around you to not only nurture you, because you're nurturing so many people. When my mom passed away, I was gone 2 weeks to Mississippi. My one king face and then another individual that was helping out at the time. They ran everything. No, they weren't seeing clients the way I do, but they were able to do everything else and keep my business afloat. This last year and a half, I've been gone 6 weeks, to almost closer to 8 weeks out of the whole year due to family emergencies, funerals, things like that. And because of being able to connect and hire people that are not just like me, but that are basically where my weaknesses are, that's their strengths, that has helped tremendously. So other than that, I don't know, guys. I used to speak in public all the time, but I don't anymore, so I'm kind of nervous about this. Thank you guys.